Peanuts! Peanuts!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. With me, as always, is Zach Moore of PigTownSports. I have no idea what's going on with the music for this program. It says it's playing. It says that the volume's turned up. I can't hear it. Zach, could you hear it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
What is going on here? Hang on. Because I can't hear you either. And maybe I'm just losing my mind a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. I don't know what just happened with this. Maybe I have no idea what happened. Anyway, Bat Around coming at you again live here on another Sunday night. Sorry for the disorganization there. I forgot until right as I was hitting play on the music that it didn't play last week. This week, not playing again. I got to get that figured out. I'll reach out to the powers that be about what's going on with that. But the music does not make the show. The two men on your screen in front of you are what make the show, and the loyal viewers, listeners, and people that follow along. Also, our local sponsors, and today's show is brought to you by Classic 5 Golf. Do you want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? Well, then the Baltimore Academy has fun instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level, so enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com. And Zach, what the F happened on this road trip? That's all you can say. What the F happened? They have an 8-0 lead in Game 3 of that series against Tampa Bay. Should have won 3 of 4. We saw Tampa Bay chipping away, I want to say slowly, but they tied the game within 3 innings.
Yep.
After 4 innings. After the Orioles had taken an 8-0 lead. They go on to win that ball game 12-8. Not only did the Orioles blow an 8-0 lead where they scored all 8 runs in the second inning on 6 hits, including 3 homers, 2 of them Earl Weaver specials. They had no hits the rest of the game after the second inning. None. And I believe it was 26 of 27 retired. Yep. After the or that's not accurate. I think it was maybe it is. Who the hell knows? What I do know is that it was a Ramon Laureano 3-run homer to give the Orioles that 8-0 lead, and then they got Zippo in the hit column, the run column, and the win column the rest of the game.
Yep.
And they go out and an impressive victory to go out and win the next game 4-1 against Tampa Bay after what many will say is and we've said it a lot this year, but many will say, and I will agree with them, it was the worst game of the year. To be up 8-0 and lose that game 12-8 and get no hit from the third inning on is completely and utterly unacceptable.
I can't say that we're shocked that it happened, though.
Yeah, I mean the no hit part, I'm shocked, but the fact that they didn't score, I mean they do that all the time, right? But then they go back out and they win a hell of a ball game in Game 4 of that series. And Tampa Bay's red hot. That ballpark is a bandbox. It's a minor league ballpark that major league players should not be playing in at the major league level. But that's where they were playing. You know, the Heat, man, I keep hearing about the Heat, but it's hot for everyone. Why are the Orioles so much worse than everybody else in the Heat? You know, well,
who the hell knows?
Rude awakening, because it's going to be 100 degrees every day this week in Baltimore. So good luck to you folks. That Game 4 Gunner was drenched by the third.
They all were, which was crazy. I mean,
yeah,
you think they'd be kind of used to it, but I don't know.
Just absolutely drenched. But they win that game. They salvage the split. And it's a feel-good split after what happened in Game 3. You know they should have won 3 of 4. But the fact that they didn't just pack it in and lose 3 of 4 and actually salvage that split, you're feeling good. Then they go and they play a gritty ball game against the Yankees in the first game. They win that game 5-3. You got basically nothing out of Sagano. He was terrible. Knocked out of the game in the 4th inning. I think he went 3 1/3, 3 2/3. Yeah. But the offense did enough. They added on late. They win that game 5-3. Then I don't really care that they lost 9-0 and got 1 hit. I don't really care. That will happen from time to time. And it's not like they were ever in that. You know, It's not like they had 2 base runners in the first inning and they didn't score. And it's not like they were ever in that game. So those are the losses where you're kind of like, yeah, They got us today. Let's move on to the next game.
Right.
Today, terrible loss.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible loss. The throw
Shouldn't
home. You score 5 base runners, 2 runs in the first inning, 7 base runners, no runs the rest of the game. And you're up 2-0. Colton Cowser has a throw to the plate that gets Maverick Hanley basically decapitated, right? The ball goes flying out of his glove. Jazz Chisholm is safe. And Cowser, and maybe you can speak to this.
Should have been ejected. Per MLB rules, Chisholm should have been ejected. He made 0 effort to not avoid contact. Should have been ejected and should have been out.
Yeah.
Per MLB rules.
Well, and there's that. There's that. And we can get into that if you'd like. But I want to ask you, you play a little bit of outfield coming up, right? And I know from my experience playing outfield that if you try to overthrow the baseball, a couple of different things can happen to you. It'll either sail on you, or you'll almost get 2-seam action on it.
Oh, yeah.
And the ball will tail away from your target, right?
Yeah.
And Colton Cowser, I think I saw somewhere last year that his arm strength is in like the 96th percentile. He's got a crazy good arm, but he tries to get everything he's got into it. And I get it. In the heat of the moment, you're going to do that, but it causes a lot of inaccuracy. And if he throws that ball 5 feet further down the third baseline, or if he throws it to the plate, we're not having this conversation because Chisholm is out by a country mile. But that throw tails way up the third baseline. Chisholm ends up being safe, doesn't get thrown out of the game. No ejections, nothing of the sort. Yankees, you know what I mean? So then it's 2-1. Orioles go 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The Yankees weren't much better until the 8th inning. I mean, they had Judge up with runners on second and third, and Dominguez strikes him out. I think that was in the 7th inning. My power went out right as he was throwing, I think, strike 3 to Judge. But wasted opportunities by both teams. But then you get to the 8th inning, and it was just terrible fundamental baseball all the way around. Chisholm gets this base hit into the gap. The relay comes home to Gunnar. Gunnar turns, and instead of turning and firing at the same time, it's almost like he's shocked again to see this guy going home, throws the ball home, and I'm sorry, 20 feet behind second base, that's a throw. That's a distance that the shortstop makes throws from in the hole at shortstop all the time. That throw needs to be on the money to the plate, and you have an out by 5 to 10 feet. Instead, he throws the ball 6 feet up the first baseline. Sanchez has to catch it, come back, and try and put a tag on. The tag gets beaten by Goldschmidt. Then, with a runner on third base, the next batter, LeMahieu, comes up, hits a ground ball to Gunnar at short with the infield in. Gunnar makes a perfect throw to the plate. He throws it about belt high to a crouching down Gary Sanchez, who tries to tag before catching the ball, drops the baseball, and now instead of it being 3-2 and you're out of the inning, it's 4-2 and you're still playing. Orioles end up losing the ball game today, 4-2. They have no business losing that ball game today. And instead of going 5-2 on this road trip with 2 series victories and putting a new stamp on your season, announcing to the baseball world, oh shit, the Orioles are for real. You are who we thought you were. You went 3-4 on this road trip, and you're not as bad as a team that was 18 under 500, but you're not a playoff team. Not playing like that, not blowing the 2 games that you blew this week.
It's fitting that you said you are who you are because we lost 2 more guys to injuries.
Yep. And that was before we could even get to that.
Well, I guess you technically could say 3. I mean, we don't know how the extent of the injury for Hanley is. I mean, we might see Chadwick Trump tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't think he's still in the organization, is he?
Yeah, he accepted it. He went back.
Oh, he did. Okay. Because my buddy said he got released.
This team is, I called him cursed earlier. I've never seen the dumbass, excuse my French. I've never seen the crazy injuries before that a team has suffered this long, this many times to this many guys. If it was 1 or 2 same guys all the time, whatever. I'm not going to say anything. But it's like consistently, every time somebody starts getting hot, boom, hurt. What can you do? Westberg's starting to get hot again in June, hurt. Adley starting to really swing the bat well, boom, hurt. Like, what can you do? Tyler O'Neill, re-injures himself again. Bradfield got hurt again today with the same hamstring. It's when is enough? Like,
Well, and that's the other thing. We talk about Grayson Rodriguez, and people talk about how he's injury prone because he had a few injuries since he's been in the big leagues. Well, what about Jordan Westburg? And I love the guy. I think he's one of the best players on the team. But he breaks his hand and missed 7 weeks last year on that hit by pitch. Not his fault, but it's still broke a hand, missed 7 weeks. The best ability is availability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has the lower back injury from sleeping on an air mattress or something in spring training. Misses the bulk of spring training. Then he has, what was it, the hamstring injury, the quad injury or something like that. Then he comes back, he gets hot, and then the next thing you know, he slides head first on a stolen base, jams his finger. It's a sprained knuckle. I don't think I've ever sprained the knuckle. Maybe I have. It doesn't sound unpainful. They said that he's day to day. He probably has to go on the 10-day IL unless that thing just
probably it hurts. I've done it before. It hurts to grip a bat.
Yeah. So you got mostly healthy with the exception of O'Neill for like 10 days.
Right.
And now
they were playing good baseball for 10 days.
Yeah. And Adley, I mean, that an oblique injury, mild or not. They said Manzolino said it's mild. Mild or not.
Well, they did say he's not coming back till after the All-Star break. That's a month.
Yeah, not coming back till after the All-Star break. It's any oblique strain is at least 30 days. At least. And like, look, at what point do you think we should be calling up Pasayo? You know, at what point is Dylan Beavers playing his way onto this roster? Because
Beavers is hurt too.
Really?
I think so.
Because I know
he collided with somebody the other day.
My God, man! Wrap this franchise in bubble wrap.
Right.
Like,
let's see if I can see it.
Why are you looking at him?
They didn't put him on. No, I just look at MILB.com. They didn't put him yet on an injury list, but he did collide and had to leave the game the other day.
And what about Heston Kjerstad? He fouled a ball off his knee earlier this week.
He's struggling bad.
Well, and it's what you said, though. They changed his batting stance. They said that he's working on a new batting stance, so he didn't play at all last week. So then this past week he comes in. He did hit a homer, but not great. I think he had 5 strikeouts in his first 2 or 3 games, something like that.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah. The good today was that Dean Kramer, 5 2/3 innings of 1-run ball. He struck out 7. He looked really good today. The bullpen was good until it wasn't. Brian Baker just. Do you have an issue with the fact that Brian Baker was pitching in that situation? Because they used Paul Goldschmidt the pinch run. They only have the backup catcher on the bench, and you've got 3 of the next 4 hitters are left-handed, and you're not going to Soto, who's been lights out since mid-May. Did you have an issue with Baker in that situation today?
I think they trusted Baker a little bit more, which is fine. Yeah. I mean, he's earned some trust. It's just he hasn't pitched since the 19th, so he should have been rested. I don't know. I mean, he was getting a little overused for a bit, and then got some rest, and then he just struggled. So,
and it's that 8th inning that seems to bite the Orioles. Anytime they have a close lead in the 8th inning, it feels like they give it up.
I thought Kittredge was our 8th inning guy.
Yeah, I feel like they're handling him with kid gloves. I feel like he pitches once every 3 days. Like, why did you give him that money?
Right.
And give an option if you're not going to use them. I get that you don't want to wear out his knee, but what's the point right now?
What's the health of that knee? Like, why are you trying to hold it?
And what are you saving him for? Because you're 11 games under 500, and you got to 9 games under 500 and immediately lost 2 in a row.
Are they trying to trade him?
Fashion. Maybe, but how are you going to trade somebody that you're not using?
Just keeping him healthy because people know how good he is.
Yeah,
and he the stats are outside that one little blip up in Tampa. I mean, his stats have been really good this year. I mean, maybe they're just trying to keep him healthy because they can't keep anybody else healthy.
Yeah. Let's get to some comments here. Lauren, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Steve, Adley hurt means we have Sanchez and his errors. Give him credit for hitting the golden sombrero, but I'm guessing that's what GS stands for. But man, he is dreadful. Oh, the Grand Slam. Well, he was pretty close to the golden sombrero today. Didn't he strike out all 3 times? Yeah. But man, he is dreadful on defense. Yeah, he is awful.
Yep.
He can't throw. He can't block.
He actually has a really good arm. It's just you don't really know where it's going.
Yeah, like I haven't seen him make a good throw yet. And now I don't know how you justify, and I get like even with the injuries, but like Gary Sanchez, your everyday catcher.
James McCann got released today so he could sign a major league deal with Arizona. So we
Really?
missed that ball too.
Yeah, you missed that one. That's like Jorge Mateo getting hurt an hour or going on the IL an hour after you release Emmanuel Rivera.
Yeah.
Like you can't win for losing, man.
No, not this team, not this year.
They are just snake bitten, man. Speaking of the Diamondbacks, they're just snake bitten. Like Gary Sanchez, your everyday catcher. You're either gonna have Chadwick Trump or Maverick Hanley as your backup catcher. And look, Maverick Hanley handles the pitching staff. He does. But somebody told me that they hate that Gary Sanchez is blocking Maverick Hanley. No, Maverick Hanley's blocking Maverick Hanley because Maverick Hanley can't hit.
Well, he's only had 40 at bats, and just like every other rookie, I mean, yeah, he's a little bit older, but every other rookie, they need their 150 at bats. Like, and especially when you come up and you're only hitting every fourth day or something. Like, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, and then that's why you see a lot of backup catchers hit around. Right, but that's why you see a lot of backup catchers hitting below 200 most of the time around the league, unless you have backup catchers like Kansas City who play very frequently. Their guys hit pretty well. Boston plays very frequently. They hit pretty well.
It's funny you said Kansas City because they used to never play.
Right.
The backup catcher in Kansas City never played.
Right. They played like, 10 games a year, if that?
Yeah. You were getting 140, 150 games behind the dish from Salvador Perez. Today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. It's just like anytime you want to start feeling good about this team.
Well, let's look at Zach Eflin, man. His June, he's got a 7.4 ERA in 4 starts.
Something's wrong with him.
He's either still hurt or he just
you can't tell me he's not. You can't tell me he's not still hurt.
I don't know.
He's just giving up long ball after long ball after. I think he's given up 6
really
home runs
flat.
His last 2 starts.
It's real flat.
He looks awful. And you're talking about trading Eflin at the deadline. I mean, who's going to want him?
I wanted Zach Eflin to get an extension.
Yeah, I wanted Sagano to get an extension, and he can't pitch anymore either.
He needs a day off. Well, not a day off, a skip start. He's got a 4.58 this month. And I mean, his legs are just shot, I feel like.
They skipped him in Tampa Bay for him to pitch against it. Yeah, because he was supposed to pitch the day that Trevor Rogers pitched.
Yeah.
And Trevor Rogers got to start instead. Like, they give
him, 2 extra days off?
Yeah, like they're trying. 2 extra days off. I feel like they're trying because he's definitely throwing it more frequently than he ever did when he was pitching in Japan. Yeah,
because they had 6 guys in their rotation, right?
6-guy rotation. I think they played less games too.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems, especially in the first inning, he is just very hittable. Just very hittable. You can throw 7 pitches, but if they're all 85 miles an hour and people are squaring them up, you're not really doing your team much good. Just very frustrating to see. And Cade Povich, he's hurt now, isn't he? He went on the IL too with a hip strain. But they said that should be a quick thing.
I think that was excuse me.
Yeah. Is there something mechanically different with Eflin after the lat injury?
I was going to look into it tomorrow.
Yeah, there's got to be something. There's got to be something because he ain't the same dude.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have a chance to watch all 3 games this weekend in New York. I was really busy we had All-Stars this weekend. I had a tournament. So I didn't get to watch a single game, but at least we won the championship.
Nice. Congrats.
Thanks.
I didn't get it. I didn't get a chance to do pick to click today because I didn't realize that the Orioles were playing at 11:30 on Roku. I knew they were playing on Roku. I didn't realize that game started at 11:30 this morning, so I didn't get to pick. But nobody went deep anyway. They scored 2 runs in the first inning and nothing after that. So
yeah, man. Offense is just they're either just there or they're just like there for an inning.
they don't have that guy in the lineup that just will get on a hot streak and hit 7 home runs in a week.
That's Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, but I mean, it hasn't been this year, and he's been, again, the best ability is availability, and he has not been available. He's got 38 at bats this year.
Yeah.
It could be Cowser, but Cowser strikes out way too much, in my opinion, to be that guy. Steve says something, and this is very surprised that Jazz didn't get plunked later in the game. The Orioles don't do that.
Yeah. They
don't do that. Do you have a problem with that? Because I believe in a strategically placed fastball every now and again. I firmly believe, like back in 2017 when Judge hit, 19 home runs against you in 2017? I sat there and I said, how has nobody put one in between his numbers yet? People are like, oh, you shouldn't be throwing at him. Go get him out. No, you throw at him so that he thinks twice about digging in. That's the whole point. The whole point is you hit him in the numbers, and then he thinks twice about digging in and hanging out over that plate and trying to drop bombs on you. I believe in a strategically placed fastball. And if a guy knocks your catcher basically out cold, like Hanley got up and he was on his feet. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. Like, and I don't know. I guess in a game that was a 1-run game that ended up being a 2-run loss, a 1-run game the entire way, you're not going to put somebody on base, especially somebody that has Jazz's speed. I get that, but I think that there's a real problem that this team doesn't have that kind of an identity. Because you look at the hard-nosed teams, you look at the teams that go out and win and they're gritty, they are not afraid to come.
Padres.
Yeah. Like
they hit like 5 of each other?
Yeah. Like they're not afraid to come inside to assert their dominance.
Yeah.
You've got, and it just goes to this team. The crap with the heat. The crap with the heat, and our guys aren't used to it. Get used to it. You play baseball in Baltimore during the summer. If you're not used to it,
they all grew up in California, Texas, Alabama. Like, I don't want to hear it.
You're
Salinas from California, for crying out loud.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If you can't play in the heat, it just goes to what Brandon Hyde said towards the end of his tenure here, or maybe just after, that they're getting a reputation around the league that they are soft. That it is hot for everybody. And I don't care if you're playing your home games in Bradenton, it's been hot there all year, or if it's been hot in Sacramento all year. It doesn't mean that you can suddenly just deal with the heat. You don't build up that kind of tolerance by playing 6 games 1 week, getting a couple weeks out of town, and then playing another 6 games at home. That's not like, sorry, it's hot for everybody. Go out there and do your job. You're getting paid a lot of money to be better in the world than anybody else at this sport. Go do your job. And I'm like, and I know you used to play professionally, and you probably hate it when fans and viewers say, do your job. But the basics are showing up, throwing the ball, catching the ball, hitting the ball. And if you can't do that because it's hot, why are you here?
Right. They have plenty of things to get around it. They're not using it.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally have wrist tape to prevent sweat from dripping down your hands. You have rosin. You're allowed to use a little bit of an amount of sticky stuff. Like, there's an approved amount. They don't use it. Outfielders are allowed to use it. It's not like they just, the rosin's only for the pitcher. It's for everybody on the field. It's just an excuse. And part of me wonders, is it an organizational thing where they say, like, hey, we got to protect our guys, let's make an excuse up? Or, I mean, there's no way that Hyde and Mansolino are the same guy, right? They're both using the same excuses all the time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. To a certain extent, I can get it. I get it. Trevor Rogers in that start, that first inning, he was nails. He was lights out. The Orioles scored 8 runs on top of the second. It was 25-30-minute inning.
Yeah.
It's 95 degrees at first pitch and humid. You go out there after sitting that long, you lose your momentum, your rhythm. And there's a lot of people that have said, this is what you do for a living. Like, this is like, you're a big league pitcher. You should be able to have your offense score you a ton of runs, so go out there and be effective and pitch like you have a lead.
It's not how that works.
Yeah, like I can give Trevor Rogers a pass for that. I can't give the offense a pass for completely packing it in after scoring 8 runs in the second. I can give Trevor Rogers a pass. Can't give the offense a pass. But I don't do it. I can't give the entire team a pass and say, oh, they're just not used to playing in the heat. Like, you got summer just started yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, you got a long way to go playing in this heat with this humidity. I just don't know what you're gonna do if that's the mentality, like, that we can't play in the heat.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta suck it up and say, look, we suck. We sucked it up tonight. We didn't get a hit. I don't need to hear excuses about the heat. Like, we all understand it. We don't need to hear it. Like, we see the TV. We see these guys absolutely drenched in sweat, just standing there. We get it. We don't need to hear it in the postgame of why things went the way they did. We just don't need to hear it. Sometimes you just need to say, look, we sucked. We got beat tonight. We didn't execute in the box. We didn't do this. Like, it's okay to say that. Nobody in that locker room is going to get mad at you if you just said, As a team, we sucked. As a team, we didn't execute. And if they do, get them the hell out of here. Because like you said, they're soft. That's how I feel about it.
I just you feel like the team's starting to play well, like they're starting to turn it around. But do they have? They still haven't had an identity.
No.
This year, even when they're playing their best baseball, which we may have already seen it and maybe behind them now. Who the hell knows? But like even when they're playing their best baseball, who are they? What can you bank on from this team on a given night? Is it the pitching? Not really. Is it the defense? No. Is it the offense just stringing together hits? Maybe for one inning a game. Like they don't have an identity. They don't have an outspoken leader. Maybe that guy is Ryan O'Hearn, but I don't know. I think that's difficult for a 32-year-old, mostly DH, to be that guy. And I think it's really difficult for a guy like Cedric Mullins to be that guy when he's hitting, 200 since the end of April?
Anyway.
Yeah. Like, they don't have that guy. And look, I'll give Gunnar all the credit in the world. 2 strikeouts this past week. That's it. Walked 3 times today. He had a 14-game hitting streak that got snapped yesterday. He's putting the bat on the ball. He's hitting lefties. He's hitting righties. Where's the power? There's no power. He's got 1 home run in a month. He's not driving the ball for extra bases. It's all singles. Like, oh, Gunnar, the lefty killer. They're all singles.
Yep.
They're like, Westberg will get hot, but then he struck out they said 11 times on the road trip. Something like that. I
really
just
struggles with off speed, like really bad.
Mm-hmm. Cowser, I've been impressed with Cowser recently. I feel like he's maybe turned a little bit of a corner here. But who else on this team are you turning to when you need somebody to step up?
Not anybody.
You don't have anybody.
I've said it before, and people thought I was nuts. I think Bradfield's that guy, and I think they're ready. Whether he's ready or not next year, I think he's here.
Yeah.
He's just an outspoken, vocal guy. He's very positive with his teammates, but he's not afraid to just come out and say something, and he's going to lead by example. He's going to hustle. He's going to just make electric stuff happen in defense and in a lineup. And, he'll be your leadoff guy. Maybe move Holiday down to the 2-hole. Who knows? Who knows?
Can you expect a rookie?
Can I expect it? No, I think it's just his personality. He's just going to do it.
I don't know, man. It's funny because I feel like every other week we're like, oh, this team's playing great baseball. Then it's like, oh, they suck again. Oh, they're playing great baseball. They're going to the playoffs. So they're not going to the playoffs. I don't know. Like, I can't just give up on them, right? I can't give up on the season. But like when you have losses like you had in Tampa Bay and in New York today, it is hard to get people on board with a turnaround here. And they've been playing better baseball. And there was a point until that blown 8-run lead, they had the best record in baseball since game 2 of that May 24th doubleheader. And luckily, I think every other team except the Yankees lost in the AL East today. But you've got to win the games that you should win. Yeah. And an 8th inning lead, I don't care if it's the Yankees and if it's in New York. You got to win that ball.
Find a way. Yep.
You've got to win that ball game. They had to, and Josh said this. Josh Soroka. Today's 8th inning, 2 on, no outs, not even be able to move the runners is a perfect example of the struggles of this team. Not only did they not win the runner, move the
2
runner,
innings in a row, wasn't it?
I don't know about maybe. I know that I can't remember the 7th. I know the Yankees had that in the 7th.
Okay.
But the Orioles in the 8th, not only did they not move the runners over, Zach, they didn't put a ball in play. The first 2 guys in the inning walked, and then 3 consecutive strikeouts.
Yeah.
3 consecutive. They didn't put a ball in play.
So, yeah. It wasn't the exact same scenario, but top of the 7th, Carlson led off with a double. And then Sanchez struck out. And then Holiday flied out. And then Urias grounded out. So they had a guy at second. Yeah. Just
he doesn't even get to third base. And here's the thing, man. This happens to this team all the time. All the time. Why aren't they willing to play small ball? Like, We don't want to give up an out. You're not doing anything.
Apparently, some analytical person came up about they were on something on Instagram, and they were like, per the analytics, like your winning percentage goes down by bunting people over. And I'm like, what? Like, I would love to see the software that says moving a guy from first and second to second and third and giving up one out makes your chances of winning less. Please show that to me.
Not in the game today.
No, not in any game ever.
I'm sorry, but you have runners on second and third with one out. You don't need a base hit.
Right.
You don't
this
need a
team
base
would strike
hit.
out, but
yeah. but I mean, there's maybe, I think Laureano might be the only guy on this team that I trust.
Yeah.
If you need a sac fly, if all you need is a ground ball to the right side or up the middle or a sac fly, he's gonna put the bat on the ball.
Yep.
I feel like he's the only guy in this lineup that I trust. It is, Zach, it is mind-numbing to me how often they fail. And it's a game of failure. So everybody in this game fails. But they fail at epic proportions.
Yeah.
I'm
about to look it up actually to see how bad it is.
Well, how much they fail?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 for 11.
I know it's bad.
It ain't good. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Brian Baker, former MLB pitcher Trevor Mays, a former pitcher now, U.S. soccer star Alex Freeman, and NFL wide receiver turned PLL lacrosse star Jared Bernhardt. Find them all now in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on Facebook and YouTube. Before we continue, Jared Bernhardt, do you know his story, Zach?
No.
So Jared Bernhardt was a 4-year starter for Maryland lacrosse, led them to a national championship. I believe he was their team captain.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had a 5th year of college eligibility. So he transferred to a D2 school and was like an all-American quarterback for that D2 school.
Okay.
Then he goes to the NFL as a wide receiver. Plays 1 year.
It's starting to come to me now.
Plays 1 year in the NFL as a wide receiver, maybe 2 years. I don't know if he actually played or if he's on the practice squad or whatever. But
he went back to lacrosse?
And now he's playing professional lacrosse.
Yeah, I do remember that guy. He went to New England, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And that is a crazy athlete.
Yeah.
That is that's like that is just an absolutely freak of an athlete.
Yep.
To be able to do something like that. You play lacrosse for 4 years. You have 5th year eligibility. I'm not going to keep playing lacrosse. I'm going to go play quarterback and be an All-American. Then I'm going to go to the NFL as wide receiver. Then I'm going to go play professional lacrosse 3 years after having played my last competitive game of lacrosse. Just absolutely insane stuff there. Did you find anything?
Yes. I'm switch it up here. So I'm doing runners in scoring position with 0 and 1 outs.
The number's going to be like 290, watch.
No, the Orioles have 72 hits in... Oh, you know what? I didn't filter an average. Oh, poo. Batting average. Here we go. All right. The Orioles are hitting 243 with runners in scoring position less than 2 outs, which is 27th in baseball.
It's terrible.
It's absolutely terrible. The best team is the Dodgers, hitting 314, and so our whiffs,
70 points higher.
Yes. Let me get the whiffs percentage. Whiff rate. There we go. Whiff rate. Not as bad as I thought. 25.5% of the time they swing through a baseball, which is about middle of the pack.
How many strikeouts do they have in those situations?
Strikeouts, K percentage, they have 22.3. So they have 78 strikeouts. So they're about
more strikeouts than hits.
9th. Yeah, they're about 9th in the league in that.
More strikeouts than hits. I would love to know how many of the outs that they make are productive. How many of the outs get those guys up a base?
I wish this baseball savant's not that smart.
Yeah, none of them are. None of them are.
I think that's really digging in deep.
Bro, we should start our own website.
If I knew how to, I would.
That's how we make our millions. So we only do it for the Orioles. Only do it for the Orioles.
Yeah.
I
think only about 10 people would look at it though.
Yeah, you, me, and
we'd
like
have to do it for like
friends.
the Red Sox and Yankees, and then we make some money.
No, I'm telling you, man. If somebody had a website that you don't have to pay $20 a month for, where you can go in there and you can find out how many times the outs that they make are productive, and what their batting average was from June 24th through now with runners in scoring position. Because I couldn't figure that out, and I went to like
Fangraphs can do that.
Fangraphs didn't. I tried
really?
every which way on Fangraphs, and I couldn't. Maybe probably user error, if I'm being honest with you. But
do you want the team?
Yeah. So I ended up figuring it out. I ended up figuring out that the Orioles since June 21st last year, something like that.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Where something hit like 229 with runners in scoring position.
So 20th.
From June 20th through like the end of last week, like the week before this past one, they hit something like 229 with runners in scoring position, because somebody tried to tell me that the Orioles were really good with runners in scoring position last year and the year before. And they were
23. They were really good.
They hit 287 in 2023. Last year they hit 251, but after June they hit 229. After June
since
20,
then they're 232.
Yeah, because they gotten a little bit better. But before this past week they were 229 since June 20th.
356 strikeouts in 1,200 at bats with runners in scoring position since last year, which is a 24% K rate.
Like,
not very good.
There's something fundamentally wrong with this team.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I will say that some of the guys that I had a big problem with how much Gunnar was failing to show up, and he's been showing up in big moments. He's been getting clutch hits. Again, not driving the baseball. That I think that'll change. Yeah. But they talk about the fact there was a point where Gunnar Henderson, what's his name, Jackson Holliday, hadn't seen a ball for 7 consecutive at bats.
Yeah,
that's nothing to be proud of. Like he's a leadoff hitter and swings at the first pitch like a lot. And hadn't seen a ball in 7 consecutive plate appearances. That's not a leadoff hitter. That's a kid who just wants to. That's a kid learning the game at the big league level, in my opinion.
Adley's hitting 171 with runners in scoring position since last June. Eloy Jimenez was better than him.
Yeah, that's a name. Eloy Jimenez.
Look, we thought Jordan Westberg was stout. Jordan Westberg's hitting 211 since last year, runners in scoring position.
Mm-hmm. He's been striking out a lot.
Preston Kerstad was 224.
And again, I think what this really comes down to is
Gunner's 272.
Which
I'll take it.
Doesn't really surprise me considering what he's been doing recently, but it's you feel like he fails more than he does.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that you can depend on. So when
give me who you would think is the top 3. Now, one of them has only got 9 games in, but he's leading, so I'll give you that.
Top 3 for the Orioles with runners in scoring position since last year. Ramon Arias has got to be up there.
Nope. He's 8th.
Really? That's surprising.
Now this is combined, so both teams or both amount of players.
Okay. Dude, it can't be Gunnar Henderson. Is he top 3?
Gary Sanchez right now is 4 for 8. So he's the leader. Again, only 9 games, but 4 for 8, 10 RBIs. So we'll give him his flowers. James McCann is number 2, and he is 8 for 27 with 13 RBIs.
Your backup pitchers.
Ryan Mountcastle is 3rd, and he is 25 for 85 with 38 RBIs.
I kind of forgot that he existed.
Yeah. Another guy hurt.
So
got to bring that up.
So let me ask you this then.
Oh, here's the next one too. Number 4, Manuel Rivera.
Right. Guy who got DFA'd. Yep. So this team has a bunch of, so you've got first round picks that are from the Elias regime that are on the big league roster.
Yep.
What's his name? Adley, Jackson Holiday, Jordan Westberg. Then you have Gunnar, who was the first pick in the second round. You've got Kobe Mayo, who was a 4th round pick. You got Ryan Mountcastle, who was a 1st round pick in 2015. You've got some legitimate players, people that should be legitimate players on your team. Are the Orioles depending too much on young guys who don't have a ton of experience to get things done for them? Or are these guys not as good as we thought they were? If you say a little bit of both.
I'm afraid to answer that question because we've talked about it before, the Greg Roman effect.
Mm-hmm.
How do we really know how good these guys are? Because as fans, none of us really like the hitting approach or the hitting coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we really gauge the players that much? And I've seen some people say like, oh, coaches don't mean that much. Like it's the player's job. No. A second set of eyes is so crucial in baseball. Somebody that for a living can dissect a video. You can look at your own video all day long and think everything looks great. And then, somebody that knows what they're doing can look and say, dude, look, come on, right here, a little bit of hitch, or, your front knee's buckling a little bit too fast, or, you see that heel right there. Like it's the little stuff. Do we know that these guys are getting that? That's where I pause on answering that. Because right now they are who they are. But that's because they've had the same kind of hitting approach. In 22 and 23 in the first half of 24, it was fantastic. Nobody complained.
Mm-hmm.
Did the league adjust and the Orioles haven't adjusted back yet? Very, very possible. It's very possible. But we're also tinkering on, 200 games now for some of these guys, and maybe it is who they are. I don't know.
Well, 22, and look, I didn't like these players. Didn't like them, but they were the adults in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Rougned Odor in 2022 and Adam Frazier in 2023. Who was that guy for this offense? Maybe it was James McCann, but he's a backup catcher. How can you backup catcher be that guy? Who was that guy?
Yeah, but I mean, Odor was a below a 200 hitter. But like late in the game, if you needed a hit, guess who was coming through that hit?
Mm-hmm.
He could have been 0 for 5 all day long. But if it was 8th inning related with runners in scoring position, guess who was coming through?
But it was also like that mentality and been there, done that.
Yep.
All those guys have been there, done that. And former all-stars. And then I look, I Cedric Mullins is a veteran, but he's not very outspoken. But he also, like, his best year, the team lost 108, 110 games. Right. And then when they got good, he was either underperforming or got hurt or both.
Yeah.
So, like, how does that guy and I get that he makes great plays. I have nothing against Cedric Mullins, but I don't know that somebody that came from the rebuild that was one of your best players during the rebuild can be your team leader now. Yeah. I don't think that guy can come from within your organization. You've got a bunch of young guys who are in their second, maybe third years in the league. A bunch of rookies who are on their or prospects who are on their way up. I feel like that guy has got to be somebody that you add from the outside. That's why I'm like, look, if the Orioles get back in this, you have to go get like a Marcell Ozuna, who's been there, who's won a championship, who tears the cover off the ball. I just I hate to say adult in the room, and it can't be a pitcher. Can it legitimately really be a pitcher like a Kyle Gibson?
No.
Who, by the way, just asked for his release from Tampa Bay. I believe
because he's shoving.
Yeah, down the AAA. Yeah. It's very frustrating to have these highly talented prospects that get to the major leagues, they show a little bit of success, and the next thing you know, it's like, all right, well, these are the guys that are going to move us forward. We're not going to add anybody of value to, like, you can talk about Tyler O'Neill all you want, but Tyler O'Neill from the beginning, and like, it's what we do when we're following our favorite team. We're talking about our favorite team. It's what we do where we convince ourselves that this is the right signing. This is the right guy. But if you really look at it, if you take a step back and you're on the outside looking in and you look at Tyler O'Neill as the guy that they added to the middle of this lineup, can you really look at that and say, yeah, I expected him to be really good for this team? Or is what's happened with him kind of more what you expected because it's what's happened throughout his entire career?
Yeah, it wouldn't matter who you talk to around baseball. Everybody would tell you if you keep him healthy, he's one of the best players in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
if you keep him healthy.
Right, and that's the big if. It's a huge if because he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Right.
Two seasons in in his 8th season in the league, 2 years he's played over 100 games. Both those years he happened to hit over 30 home runs. But then there's been a bunch of years where he's been hurt. One year I think he hit like 174 with like 6 home runs, and that's what it looks like this year is going to be for him. And every time, like we talked about him ad nauseum on this show. We have talked about him ad nauseum about how he should be this, but he's not. I don't know, man. Are you still as optimistic? Do you still feel about this team the way you did a week ago or 2 weeks ago when you're like, I still think they can make the playoffs? I feel defeated right now.
If a team would stayed healthy, yeah, I think they still would be fine. But I mean, Mountcastle's still 4 weeks away. If Westberg has to miss any time, I mean, he might go on another 10-day DIL. I keep wanting to say DL. Adley's out for a month, right? That's 4 to 6 weeks. Like that's 2 really potent guys in your lineup. Your star bat that you signed isn't available. I'm not going to call him a star first baseman, but he's a really good first baseman. He's a really good average hitter. No power, but either way, he's a productive guy in the lineup. Also not there. So you got 4 guys hurt. Now your backup catcher's hurt. Now your really terrible backup catcher's got to start. Like they just can't get it. I don't even want to say they can't get out of their own way, but it's something and Chad made a good comment here. There's something organizationally up and down. And is it the strength and conditioning coach? I don't know, because they've been there for like the last 3 years. Now all of a sudden it has gotten bad the last year and a half. So it's not like it's just all of a sudden kind of thing. Like it's a gradual thing where a lot of guys are getting hurt. I don't know, man. Like it was good to see Braxton Bragg come back today, but like, Zach Fruit's been out for a long time. That was a promising arm this year. Patrick Riley was a promising arm this year. The Billy Cook trade last year. And I think there's some other ones too, but like when you look down, I posted the other day, like how bad Norfolk leads their league in June in walks per 9. It's like 5.26 walks per 9. And then Bowie, it leads the Eastern League at like 4.89. So you got your AA and your AAA team leading their leagues in walks, and you have nothing reinforced because everybody you were counting on is hurt. And Bragg thankfully came back. He's got some kind of forearm issue. He did come back and he threw the ball very well today. At this point, just start the watch because it's just when now. They can't keep a single. And I've seen people on Twitter say like, "Oh, Mike Elias is in year 7 and can't develop a pitcher." Every time they get really, really close, boom, they're out for 600 days from Tommy John. Like they can't catch a break, man. And it's up and down with the organization. Doesn't matter what level it is. They cannot keep anyone healthy. One of their really good prospects that nobody talks about, Tavian Josenberger, also hurt right now. Like it just doesn't matter the level. They can't keep good players on the field.
Orioles bird watcher. O'Neill went to Horton's and bought donuts for the team on opening day. He tried being a leader from the moment he was healthy enough.
I heard about that. Yeah, he wanted everybody to experience Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
that's like a big Canadian thing. And he's from Canada.
Is buying donuts for your team really that big of a deal?
No, he probably got him coffee too.
Okay, coffee and some donuts.
Yeah,
Joe DiMaggio.
I actually have some Tim Hortons upstairs. Not gonna lie to you, I switched over to it.
Yeah, I've never had them.
It's okay.
With these injuries, do you see them offering more or less years in contracts for the time being? I mean, they don't do it anyway.
I honestly think Mike Elias he's said it for years that he's afraid to do it to pitchers because they stay getting hurt. And now when you look around the league, like more guys are hurt than ever. What the hell do you want him to do?
Tommy
if the guy's already scared about it, and then it's all you look around the league and see. Like he ain't doing it anymore.
I mean, Corbin Burns was a picture of health and consistency for a starting pitcher, and he's out probably 600
days. Probably,
yeah. The rest of this year and probably till August or September of next year with Tommy John surgery. And he was the picture of health, like as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Orioles bird watcher. I didn't mean it in a big deal way.
Sarcastic way.
Yeah.
That was his way of being a leader.
Yeah, bringing in some donuts. I'll bring you guys some donuts.
Right, let's get back to that runners and scoring position thing. Adley 114 this year.
Adley's 114 with runners.
114. He's 5 for 44. this
And
season.
he hits second.
Yes.
Every damn
I've
day.
complained about that all the time.
Well, we all have, but
so on the season right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys hitting 200 or less with runners in scoring position. Colton Cowser hitting 200, Carlson 200, Lariano 196 has gotten better. Mountcastle 179, Heston 178, Mateo 118, Adley 114, and then Chadwick, Vasquez, Adams, and Hanley are at 0. And that's, Adley plays every day. Jorge, you were like stuffing into the lineup for how long? Heston was playing every day. Mountcastle was playing every day. Lariano's been playing every day. Granted, he has been better. Cowser plays every day. Carlson's been playing every day. Urias is hitting 220. He's been playing a good bit. Mayo at 231. I'm happy to see that with some of his struggles. And it seems like it's getting better. He's only had 13 at bats. So, that's going to skyrocket up or down pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday at 250. Okay. Still a young guy. Westberg 261. Happy to see that. Cedric 261. Happy to see that. But Gunnar 347. Very happy to see that this year.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's got 17 hits and 12 of them are singles.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's not driving the baseball. What it could be low testosterone. If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone.
Look at that pitch.
At Game Day Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Call Game Day Men's Health in the Owings Mills at 443-264-4454 or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com for more information. Maybe we should give the Orioles that phone number. Maybe we should give them the phone number to like American Eyewear or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. It could be glasses. It could be testosterone. It could be a lack of cypionate.
It could be a lot of things. I think they all need a slump buster.
Oh man. God, I haven't heard that terminology in a long time. I get like one good one a year. That segue was legal.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I get like one good one a year. Orioles Birdwatcher says about Adley, it's like having a pitcher bat second every time in an RBI spot. Good grief. How can you hit that poorly as a big leaguer? And it's like it's his birthright to bat second, third, or fourth. Like to me, that's a guy that should be batting seventh.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a guy that shouldn't be in the lineup at all. But he's Adley Rutschman, so if he's going to play, he needs to be batting seventh for this team. I'm
trying to see like how are teams pitching us with runners in scoring position. So it looks like off speed, which is changeup, splitty, forkball, screwball. It's only 3% of the time. 410 pitches with runners in scoring position. We're hitting 172 off of that. Mm-hmm. So that sounds really fantastic. The fastball, they've seen 1,300 pitches, and they're hitting 253 runners in scoring position. Respectable. Okay.
It's probably middle middle of the pack.
Very, very probably. Breaking ball here is 6%, and they're hitting 185. So if we bring in the breaking ball and the off speed with runners in scoring position, total, they are hitting 180 as a team. Now, if I take the Orioles filter off of that, let's see where they rank. 180 against the off speed with runners in scoring position. It is second to last in baseball.
That doesn't surprise me. This team cannot hit the breaking ball. Nope. They can't hit off speed. They can't hit the breaking balls. And the problem is with a guy like Heston Kjerstad couldn't hit a fastball.
Right.
And a guy like Jackson Holliday. And look, Jackson Holliday's been getting his hits. It feels like he's getting one hit a game. Essentially, that's why he's batting about 250.
Yeah.
But he struggles with the fastball too.
He pulls out.
Yeah. I think that he has so much talent, but he legitimately is flying open that front shoulder every time he swings.
So the fastball, they're ranked 21st at 253. League average is 266. Best in baseball, Detroit at 306. So that kind of puts that in perspective. But here's a funny one. Here's a real funny one. We all know how bad the Nationals are. Nationals number 2 here at 305.
Well, they got guys like
James Wood. It's got to be all James Wood. He's got to be about 80 for 81 against fastballs or something. That guy's unreal. Could you imagine him and Jackson Merrill in the same outfield if they never made that trade?
Oh,
and CJ Abrams. Oh, so it would have been James Wood, Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis.
Wait, what? It would have been Jackson Merrill,
James Wood, and Fernando Tatis if they didn't make that trade for Juan Soto. And you would have had CJ Abrams at shortstop and McKenzie.
You're talking about in San Diego.
Yeah.
Man.
Would you imagine? That's 3 All-Stars.
Honestly, man, I thought that's what we had here.
I think everybody thought that.
I thought that's what we had here. You're talking about
baseball pumped us up.
You're gonna have Kalzer and Kerstad and Gunnar and Westberg and Holiday and Rutschman. Like 3 years ago, hearing that all those guys were going to be in our lineup every single day, we would have been giddy. Mm-hmm. We were giddy. And now you get to it, and it's like they're one of the worst hitting teams in baseball.
Yeah.
And again, because Westberg's the glue, as they call him. He's the glue, but he hasn't been able to stay on the field. And the real glue is that veteran presence.
Yep.
That veteran presence.
That veteran is Ramon Laureano.
Yeah. And I love Ramon Laureano. I think he was a hell of a signing. I'd love to see him stay in Baltimore for a good while.
Put up Birdwatcher's last comment here, how it's gotten better, because I'm going to touch on it real quick, because he's not wrong. So against the fastball, I'm glad he actually said this, because I just turned it on. So against the fastball, since June 1st, they're 6th with a 308 average with runners in scoring position. Very respectable. I think that's a lot of John Mabry, because he's early in the count kind of guy, look for the fastball. So that kind of makes sense. If we go back here to, is this off speed? Off speed, they are 26th at 150. So they've gotten worse in June on the off speed. And let's see, breaking ball, which includes sliders, they are 5th, 276. So they've gotten a lot better there. But it makes more sense. So breaking ball has the slider, sweeper, slurve kind of thing, curveball. They've been hitting those a little bit better. The changeups really bother this team. But overall, so they were at, 26th? They're up to 16th since June at 224 on the breaking and off speed. So it's gotten better under John Mabry, but not enough.
I mean, they're probably just saying, look, you're going to get one good fastball, get your pitch and don't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what they're saying. You're going to get one good fastball, do damage on the fastball. You're going to get one good fastball per bat, get it, and hope you don't miss. You know, that's got maybe that's the approach, and maybe that's why they've gotten better. You know, instead of, I can't tell you how. And again, I know it's weird that I talk about my playing, but baseball's still baseball, right? And I'll tell you that, like, I'll go up to the plate, and today I knew that a guy was going to throw me a curveball. I had 2 hits today, but in my first bat I struck out. It was 3-2, or I'm sorry, it was 2-2. He had thrown me 2 straight curveballs. I spit on one, and I fouled off another one. And I'm like, all right, he's going to throw me another one. And then I convinced myself that he was bringing the heat. Even though I knew the curveball was coming, I talked myself out of it, told myself he was bringing the fastball. And then I looked like an idiot when he threw me a breaking ball. And I swung at a pitch that landed in the other batter's box. And I was so mad at myself because I knew that was coming, but I talked myself out of it. How often do you think these guys talk themselves out of the pitch that's coming?
Almost every at bat seems like.
Yeah. It's like,
I remember when I was in college. You played at Dundalk Community College?
I played there when I played for Hartford. I played against
I was there when Oppie was there. Do you remember him, the old man?
Yes.
So we had a team come down from New York one time, and I was the leadoff hitter. And he told me, he's like, I know this coach. They're going to start. It was a lefty start. And he said, he's going to start you off with a breaking ball. He's like, and I want you to look stupid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I want you to swing, fall over, look scared in the box. He's like, because they're going to throw you a second one. He's like, and I want you to hit it over into Dundalk High School, because it had the big fence and then you had the street and then you had the fence above there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, whatever. First pitch came, I fell over, ducked out of the way, and kicked dirt all up and looked real dumb. And he's smiling over there and he's like, next pitch comes in, I hit one over in the Dundalk High School. And he's just sitting there cheesing on the bucket. And he's like, I told you, motherfucker, But it's just, that's baseball sometimes. Sometimes you got to set people up. And I feel like these guys just overthink it in the box sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching a fastball right down the middle, what do you cool, you're waiting for a breaking ball, but can you please just at least swing? I don't care if you miss, but try to shoot one in the other dugout or something because you're so late. Do something. Throw the bat. I don't care. Try something.
Yeah. The too many looking strike threes, but also too many chases. In my opinion, there was that O'Hearn at bat. It was a close ball game. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was 3-0. The guy throws ball 4. It's clearly a ball. The umpire calls it a strike. The next pitch is even further off the plate. O'Hearn's swinging at it. The next pitch after that was just as far off the plate as the pitch that got called. And he's swinging at that one, and he ends up striking out. And to me, it's like that strikeout's completely on O'Hearn. It's completely on O'Hearn because the strike zone. You've got 2 more pitches. It's not like that pitch made it 3-2. It made it 3-1. If he throws you another one that's out there, of course he's going to do that. Yeah. Don't swing. Why do you need to swing there? Get on base. It's just confounding to me that just how much this team fails in a sport of failure, how much this team fails. And I've been saying it for years because people will say, man, you do not handle losses well.
Most competitors don't.
Well, right. But they lost that game 9-0 yesterday. I didn't care. All I cared about was that Gary Sanchez got that base hit so they didn't get no hit. Yeah. That's all I cared about. It's not 95% of the time when I'm pissed off after a loss, it's not that they lost. It's how they lost.
Right.
It's how they lose ball games.
Yep.
Up 8-0. Up 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Okay.
I think I said it to you on Twitter. Remember? I was like, oh, the bigger story is going to be when we don't get a hit for the rest of the day or we don't score another run. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
That shit had happened.
And then that's exactly what happened. That was at the 8-0 game. That's exactly what happened.
I think you posted it in the 3rd inning.
my buddy blamed me because they scored. I had clients out to dinner, and I told myself, I was like, I could see they had these partitions that were still up from COVID, and I could see the reflection, and I saw multiple guys in home run trots for the Orioles, and I'm like, oh, they must be doing something. I was like, I'm not gonna watch. I'm gonna go home and start the game over on Fubo and just watch in the beginning so I can enjoy this. But I stood up and I happened to look at the TV out of force of habit and saw it was 8-0 in the 2nd inning, and I was like, all right. I immediately started watching in the 3rd inning when I got home. And that's when everything fell apart. They did nothing the rest of the game. Trevor Rogers fell apart and all that. And my buddy still blames me. He still blames me. But he texted me.
Turn it on.
Yeah, exactly. And he texted me yesterday before the game. And he said, this is good. This is a really great looking lineup today. And then they got 1 hit.
Yep.
So I blame him for that. But Orioles Bird Watcher, I swear sometimes it seems like you told our batters to do the opposite of whatever you've been taught, whatever intellects you've been given, whatever pitch you expect to get. Think opposite, and then we couldn't do much, and then we couldn't do much worse than whatever this approach is we got now. What is this? 99% how we lost, 1% John May. Do you get that reference?
Yeah, I don't get umpire.
Oh yeah,
that guy sucks.
All the umpires suck, man. And when they sit there on the broadcast and they're like, really, umpires are better now than they've ever been. Get the flying F out of here. They're better. They might be, because now that we have the pitch track and all that, and we have the box there and all that, they might be better, but they have all the technology to not suck, and they still suck.
Right.
Andrew, I'm not going to try and say your last name, my friend, but that's a mouthful. Best hope for this team, in my opinion, is they finish near or at 500, like 22. I don't see them playing at a 600-plus clip to get in. And I don't think they need to play at a 600-plus clip to get in.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to. It's just they've got to win the games that they should win. And they lost 2 ball games on this road trip that they should have won.
Yep.
that they had no business losing.
They could have set themselves up for sure.
Yeah, they are that close to going 5-2 on that road trip and changing the entire narrative about this season. And instead, they come home at a very mediocre 3-4 to play in 102-degree temperatures against Texas tomorrow, who's under 500 as well. But I don't know, man. That Texas is Seager back playing?
Seager?
Is he still hurt? Yeah,
I haven't heard, to be honest.
I know that he got hurt earlier in the year, but I mean, they've got some bats in that lineup. They've got some bats, and they've got like, are you? Is Evaldi? I feel like I remember
Evaldi's still hurt, I believe.
Yeah. So
Gunner's actually the fourth best shortstop in baseball right now. Runners in scoring position.
Really?
366 this season.
But no power. They probably told him, like, look, man, stop trying to hit the ball at the ballpark. You hit the hell out of the baseball. Just put good swings on the balls, and the results will come. Right now, it's all base hits. You know, maybe he's trying. Maybe he's trying to do less. Maybe they said do less. You know.
Yeah.
The fact that he only has 2 strikeouts since last Sunday, and he walked 3 times today, it tells me that they said to him, look, man, your natural ability is good enough to make you a star. Do less. Just let the game come to you. You know, but right now it's just resulting in singles. I can't wait for him to get hot and hit like 10 home runs in 2 weeks. Because that's the guy that can do it. Kowser can do it. It's just they haven't. Patrick Corbin, he got this big contract from the Washington Nationals, helped them win a World Series in 2019. And from 2020 through last year, his ERA was like 5.6. And now he goes to Texas, and he's 4-6 with a 3.91 ERA.
Yeah.
He starts the game tomorrow against the Orioles, against Trevor Rogers.
Yep. And Chadwick Trump will be in the lineup probably.
Probably. All right. Let's see here. Let's get another read in here. Today's show brought to you by
who's the Rangers pitching coach? Oh, Mike Maddox. No wonder he's pitching good.
Oh, man. We got Drew French, who I'd never heard of until he came here.
All right.
Yeah. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. Find every score from every high school sporting event all year long at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Let's talk about the AL East roundup. Wenzel Perez and Parker Meadows each homered and drove in 3 apiece to back 5 innings and 1-run ball from Casey Mize as the Tigers took down the Rays 9-3. Miguel Vargas homered and drove in 2 to pace the offense, while Adrian Hauser allowed 2 runs in 6 1/3 to lead the White Sox over the Blue Jays 4-2. Isn't Adrian Hauser also the name of the Orioles PA announcer?
Sounds like it. I think so.
I think that's her name. And Helio Ramos homered and drove in 4, and Casey Schmidt collected 4 hits, finishing a triple shy of the cycle to lead the Giants to a series victory over the Red Sox with a 9-5 victory. Zach, take the rake. You took Ramon Laureano this past week. He went 4 for 21 with a home run, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. I took Gunner. He went 6 for 19 with a double, 3 RBIs, 6 walks, 2 Ks. I think that's back-to-back victories for me. Not that it matters. It's not like we're playing for anything. The first 3 years I did take the rake on this show, I made a trophy. I made a trophy out of Miguel Tejada bobblehead, and that was pretty cool. And I actually, dude, the lengths. I took a Q-tip, put Gorilla Glue on it, and then I took toothpicks and broke them up and made a little rake and put that in the little bat slot with Miguel Tejada. It was really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It took me way longer than I care to admit, and I think I destroyed a desk. Using that Gorilla Glue to make that break. But yeah, pretty ridiculous. Today's show has also been brought to you by the Pressbox, latest edition of Pressbox Print. The latest edition is available now. Wait, that's not right. Sorry, I forgot that we have a new issue that just came out. Let me read this one. The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, we profile Baltimore's first ever basketball Hall of Famer, speaking to the people who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smoka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green, and our annual summer travel section shows you the sports events and activities your family should check out all summer long. You can find the new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. You know, we're like 5 weeks away from training camp.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They have the best roster in football. You can't convince me the Ravens are the best. Now, health, they've got to stay healthy, but if they stay healthy and they don't win a Super Bowl this year, they're never going to win one. They have the best roster in the history of this team. in my opinion, right
Yep.
now.
Let's touch on Rob's comment here. What he says, what do we think we do with catcher when Hanley needs time? I know a lot of people want Basayo. I don't think
he hasn't called enough.
He's caught 15 games.
Yeah.
That's it. And he's 3 for 16 throwing guys out, which isn't great at all. A lot of that I think is on the pitching, but what's that?
They clearly don't care about that though.
No, but
Sanchez.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we see him. I think he's still got a little bit to learn behind the plate, how to control a pitching staff, how to call a game, late in the game, and not doing him any favors with having such a bad staff right now in Norfolk. Like, he's not getting that kind of experience because every third inning they're already down 10 runs. Like, how's he getting experience at this point in a tight ball game late? Bringing in a good closer. Like, it's just, I don't know. The offense is fine. It's there. He's going to hit. He's going to struggle when he gets up, but he's going to hit too. It might not be like as bad as a Mayo, but I mean, defensively, he's fine. He's got a rocket for an arm. He blocks the ball very well. He receives the ball very well, but it's a little bit different when as far as like calling a game.
Orioles Bird Watch says, to be fair, 3 for 16 sounds about par for us, but agreed. I think we find the backup free agent or waiver pickup to be the number 2 to Sanchez.
His arm's a lot better than that, though. His arm is really good.
He's got a really good arm. He's huge for a catcher. He's a big. He's only 20, but he's a big dude. Isn't he like 6'4", 6'5"? Like he's.
Let me look it up.
I think he's
the problem
like.
Is I don't think he's done growing.
He's probably not done growing. I think ultimately he ends up taking over at first base.
6'3", 180.
Yeah, that 180 ain't true.
No,
that was when he got drafted, and not drafted when he got signed in the international bonus side.
But you know what? Salvador's 6'3", 225. So I mean, if you can get Salvador Perez out of him body wise,
and
hitter
wise,
I don't think it's impossible. Hitter wise, it could happen. It really could. But he also has the same body style as like I'm blanking the name of Houston right now. Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
So he could like continue to, because remember, look, I played with Jonathan Scope, and Scope was yoked. Remember how big he was?
Yeah.
When I played with Scope, he was a little beanstick. He was so skinny. He had the skinniest little legs. The armbands that would go in your wrist, the Live Strong, could fit like on his thigh. Like he was a little dude.
I remember seeing pictures of when he first signed, and he was a skinny guy.
Oh, he was crazy.
Yeah.
And Basayo's, look, he's what, a year or two older than Scope was when he signed right now. Yeah. And that was 5 years ago when he signed, but still, like, he's not done growing.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. Basayo is better than Gary Sanchez. I mean, there's not a lot.
I would say probably 100% defensively. 100%.
Defensively, probably.
I'm pretty sure at 36, I'm still better defensively than Gary Sanchez. And I haven't squatted down in probably 8 years.
He can't block a baseball. And
no,
like you said,
never could.
His arm. Oh yeah, he led the league. He led the majors in pass balls like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and then he walks to it after he misses it.
Yeah. Oh, that was my biggest problem with Aaron Hicks. Everybody loved Aaron Hicks. I hated Aaron Hicks when he came here. Like, fine, he hit a few home runs. He hit like 275 when he came here. I hated Aaron Hicks because I watched him jog after baseballs in the gap. Jog after baseballs down the line. I was at a game that the Orioles lost where he was playing right field, and the go-ahead run in like the 8th or 9th inning scored from second base on a base hit that was hit on a piss missile base hit in the right field. And he came up and he lollygagged up to the ball and he picked it up, and then he realized that the guy was going home, and then he threw, and the throw was on the money, but because he didn't come up throwing and just didn't expect the guy to run, the guy scored because the throw was a little late, and they ended up losing the ball game. I saw them lose a game in Cleveland where he didn't run after a baseball. I saw them lose a game in Baltimore where he's playing from that big left field wall. The ball went to the gap, and he just jogged after it like there wasn't guys on base. Yeah. And I can't stand when you have players that don't give it their all. when you have players that just don't give it their all. And Gary Sanchez is one of those guys. At the plate, I believe that he does, but behind the plate, if you have a pass ball and you just walk after the baseball, what are we doing?
I remember it was a playoff game one time when he was at the Yankees, and it was a guy on second or third. It might have been second, and he had a pass ball, and he turned around and walked to it, and the guy scored from second.
Mm-hmm.
And, and this was probably 10 years ago, and I've never liked him ever since.
I mean, we saw that happen to the Orioles, where Dylan Bundy threw a wild pitch, the guy from third scored, and then he didn't cover home plate.
Yeah.
And the guy on second scored too. That's the sign of like bad. That's just bad baseball.
Yeah.
It's just bad baseball. All right, man. Who are you going to take for? I get first pick and take the rake this week. Who's healthy? Jesus.
Who's healthy?
I'll take it.
What a question.
Right? I guess I'll take Holiday. No, give me Kowser. I'm going to take Kowser.
I'll take O'Hearn. I'm going to stick with the veteran.
You just said you were going to take Holiday.
I was going to, but then you did. And then I was like, oh, I got O'Hearn.
Yeah. All right. So you'll take O'Hearn. I'll take Kowser. All right.
O'Hearn will probably get hurt now somehow.
Hey, Charlie Morton. They asked this on 105.7 The Fan. Is he our number one right now?
Yeah, he has to be.
There's no doubt he's getting traded. If he's continue, you're not winning the World Series this year. You signed him for 1 year, $15 million. Some team is going to give you something for Charlie Morton if he continues to pitch the way that he has. Are you trading Eflin and Sagano, or are you extending one or both?
How the hell are you trading Eflin right now with a 7.4 ERA?
Right.
Who the hell wants him? And what are you going to get for him? Like, is the value even going to be remotely close to be worth trading him? I say that where somebody's going to give you a low-level prospect because he sucks right now, and then he's going to go over there and figure it out. And then everybody's pissed off, right? At that point, it's not, the value is not worth trading him, is what I mean.
How do you fix this team? Because I think that we can agree. Well, but beyond that, right? Because even when they're healthy, the fundamentals have been escaping them. Although I think that Gunnar has shown that I think Gunnar has been the best work that this team has done.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he's the best player on the team, but you look at what he does defensively. He gets square to the baseball, steps into his throw. He's not fielding on the run unless he absolutely has to. He looks so much more fundamentally sound in the field, and he looks like he's just hitting what they give him at the plate.
Yeah.
Gunnar has been a guy who has stepped up his game just during this season, I think more than anybody else over the last month. Yeah. But again, it's because he's the best player on the team. I don't see anybody else on this team stepping their game up. So how do you fix them? Because it's going to be the same cast of characters next year. You hopefully have Grayson back. You hopefully have Bradish back. Are they going to go out and get the pitching necessary? Are they going to go out and get a veteran bat? They've needed a veteran bat for 4 years, and and I'm not talking about Tyler O'Neill or Gary Sanchez or Adam Frazier. I'm talking about a legitimate bat for the middle of your order. They haven't had one for 4 years. It's like the one thing missing from the offense. If you're running the Baltimore Orioles, how do you ensure that they get back to being maybe the best team in the American League next year? Because they have enough talent to do it if they add the right pieces. If Zach Moore's running the team, what does Zach Moore do?
Dude, it all runs through health for most of these guys, to be completely honest with you. Let me check out who's available next year, because I don't really remember. Why is it not showing up? Oh, free agents. Duh. All right. Let's see. Let's go batters first. God, I don't see anybody on here that's worth anything.
Talking about free agents, there's nobody. You're gonna have to trade for somebody.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so Kyle Tucker. I mean, that would be fun, huh? A player option for Pete Alonso. He's not turning down $24 million after hitting what he's doing this year. Bregman's not getting more than 25, so he's off the table. Bellinger not getting more than 25. He's there. Luis Robert at $20 million will likely probably be cut unless he gets traded to San Diego this year and figures it out.
Did you say Pete Alonso isn't turning down the $24 million option?
No, I think he will. I think he will.
Yeah, he's hitting 294 with 18 home runs. I think he absolutely turns that.
Yeah. Bo Bichette,
I don't want Bo Bichette.
I wanted him last year, but
where's he going to play?
I wanted him at second base and put Holiday in center field.
Do you think they're going to ever do that, though?
No, not with Bradfield this close.
Yeah.
So you see, you got Josh Naylor.
I hate
he could help the team.
I hate his body type. I don't think that he stays in shape enough to be an impact player for more than a couple seasons.
He could help the team, but yeah. Luis Rengifo?
No.
No. I mean,
he's a utility player at this point in his career, right?
Brian O'Hearn's probably the next best guy.
He's already here.
Right. Lane Thomas is after that. Reese Hoskins is 35. Yeah. Maybe Austin Hayes. There's nothing next year to hit with. So, I mean, you're going to have to get these guys together. Let's look at pitchers.
There's a few out there for next year.
Shane Bieber will likely decline his $16 million. Is he pitching? Do we know?
I don't think he is. I think he's still hurt.
Again?
Well, I mean, didn't he get hurt he's 2-0 with 20 strikeouts and a .92 whip.
So he got hurt again. Jeez.
He's playing catch again as of 2 days ago.
Okay, so Framber Valdez is going to be the prize. Market valued at 18. So all from 25 for 4 years. I don't even care because the Yankees and Boston will. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Chris Sale, a club option at 18. They're going to pick that up in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. Although he's on the IL right now.
Yeah. So your top unrestricted free agents next year: Valdez, Dylan Cease, Zach Gallen, Nick Martinez, Michael King, Charlie Morton, Merrill Kelly, Aaron Savali.
Michael King's a team option for next year.
No. Yes. $15 million. Yes. Yeah, that's right. They re-signed him. I read that wrong. Wait a minute. This is weird. They have him on here twice. One is a mutual and one is an unrestricted. That's weird. Let's see. Raciel Iglesias is a bullpen arm. Devin Williams is a bullpen arm. Ryan Helsley. He's only 30. Wow. There's not a ton. Andrew Heaney.
Dylan Cease 4.43 ERA this year.
Mm-hmm. Zach Littell. I would take Zach Littell.
I think he's a bum.
I would take him over Dean Kramer.
Well, what do you do with Dean Kramer? Is he?
I think they look to trade him. I think they're going to look.
At the deadline?
Yeah.
Or in the off season?
At the deadline. I think they're going to try and acquire themselves a young kid who's about ready 2025, maybe like San Diego or somebody like that.
I just think that this deadline is so vital for this team moving forward.
I don't think it's enough.
I
don't think it's enough.
I mean, I have to assume if they don't get back into it, and nothing about the way they play, even when they get hot, nothing about the way they play, they're so inconsistent, tells me that they're going to get back into it, right? So,
well, we also have to anticipate another Grayson injury next year.
Yeah.
And you have to anticipate that right now.
Yeah.
Like I understand that he has the ability to be an ace. Let him earn it at this point. Do not rely on him. Yeah. Find yourself an ace. Get yourself Kyle Bradish back. And if you get a healthy season at Grayson Rodriguez as your number 3, you're in a really freaking good position. Really good position. What
kind of stamina, what kind of innings can you really realistically expect from Kyle Bradish next year?
The full next year.
You think so?
Should be, because at that point you'll be at about 600 days.
Right, but he's thrown 150 innings once in his career, right? And that was in 2023. He got hurt a couple months. He got hurt a month into his season last year. He's had Tommy John surgery. He might pitch. He might make a handful of starts this year, and then you go into spring training. He's got to be on an innings limit, I'd imagine, next year.
Maybe. I wouldn't hate it, but
I have to imagine that you're trading Mullins O'Hearn, one of, if not both of, Eflin and Sagano.
I think
Maybe
you got to try your
Mountcastle.
best to hold on to Sagano just for that market because he's so loved over there. You trade him, like you're done. You're
Yeah,
done. Yes, you
yeah,
can get a lot for him, but you will never sign another Japanese arm
yeah.
ever
I
again.
think, I believe that you have to. I think that you have to extend him. I think you have to extend him, like, even if it's just 2 years.
Shit,
Maybe
they
it's
just announced Jacob Mizorowski versus Paul Skeens on Wednesday.
he still hasn't given up a hit. Mizorowski, 11 innings and 2 starts, no hits. It's a modern era record. That is crazy.
Remember when I posted in January, should the Orioles trade Heston Kjerstad for him? And 77% of the people said, hell no.
I don't think anybody knew who he was.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's so much that God. It sucks that we're even having this conversation simply because of the fact that, like, it feels like they're too good. It feels like they have too much talent.
But like you said, they are who they are at this point.
Yeah.
I can't personally answer that question just because of the coaches. I don't know, but we're getting into that amount of games where it's just like, dude, I can't defend you anymore.
Yeah. Hypothetical. Somehow the wild card round starts tomorrow and we are in. What we have available, who do you give the ball to for game 1 right now? Scott Bluett.
Charlie Morton.
Yeah. I don't think.
With Maverick Hanley behind the plate.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I still would. I haven't heard many updates about Bradish, Grayson, or Tyler Wells. I would love to know what those guys are doing.
Wells, they think the last thing they said about Wells was he was on a bullpen and he mixed in all his pitches, but that was about it.
Okay. Hopefully we get an update. I mean, I can't stop yawning. It's late. Late for me. Late for an old man like me who doesn't get much sleep with a 17-month-old that has molars coming in. I don't know, man. I want to see some good pitching come back. I want to see the offense turn around. I want to see guys get healthy and stay healthy. It's just they haven't shown any kind of ability to do that. Rob says, retool, don't go all out. Keep your young guys, but you need to pick up some solid guys, especially in the pitching department. Well, yeah. I mean, like, you don't. This isn't a fire sale. You're not starting a new rebuild, right? Like, let
me ask you a real question though. Would you trade a Colton Cowser for a good arm?
Yes. Yes. I thought.
What about Jordan Westberg?
Yes. Yes. And that one hurts. That one hurts because I think he has the potential to hit in the middle of your order, but he keeps getting hurt. He doesn't get on base. He strikes out a lot. And if you can get, and I love Jordan Westberg. I don't want them to trade him. But if he's on the market and you can get a solid arm in return, like an arm that can help you immediately, I don't see how you don't. Right. And with Cowser, I said this after he won Rookie of the Year last year. I think he really struggles significantly with anything that's not a fastball. Yeah. And so what I see from him is a guy who's going to hit maybe 250 at his best, maybe 260 at his best in the big leagues on a whim. But I think more so he's a 240, 250 hitter, he'll have 25 to 30 home runs, which is great. And he'll play good defense. But I think that his value after coming in second in Rookie of the Year never would have been higher than after last season. I felt like you could have gotten a boatload for Colton Cowser in the offseason. This year, I still think you get a ton for him. I wouldn't be against it, especially when you consider what the Orioles have as far as outfield prospects in the minor league level, in the minor league system.
So let me throw a proposal to you: Kjerstad, Mayo, Cowser, and Westberg for Paul Skeens.
Kjerstad, Mayo, Westberg, and Cowser
for Paul Skeens. That's tough.
That's really tough.
That's a lot of good players.
That's a lot of good players.
But then there's also, like, would Pittsburgh take that because there's unproven players in that deal too?
You have 2 unproven players. You've got an all-star and a Rookie of the Year, basically, in Cowser and Westberg.
You'd have to throw in another arm, right?
I don't know. I saw a trade proposal the other day that said Kerstad, Povich, and Basayo for Sandy Alcantara. It was Jim Bowden.
Hell no.
For
Hell
the
no.
Athletic. For the Athletic. He said
Jim Bowden is a goddamn idiot. The more I listen to him and more I like read his stuff, and he's been with Glenn, dude, he's an idiot. The more he talks, the worse it gets.
Like they had like the top 10 trades that need to happen. And the Orioles was like number 9. And it was Orioles get Alcantara, Marlins get Povich, Kerstad, and Basayo. And I said, I wouldn't even trade Basayo straight up for Alcantara.
I wouldn't even trade Povich for Alcantara right now.
Like, absolutely. I was like, I can't take this seriously. I can't read anything else in this. I can't.
You could get Alcantara probably for like Judd Fabian, Vance Honeycutt, and Cam Weston.
Yeah. I mean, the way Alcantara is pitching this year, and
just Honeycutt in general,
like
you got a pretty decent arm, and you got 2 high-profile minor leaguers.
Yeah,
one that could probably start on your team right now in Fabian. Yes, he strikes out a little bit, but he's probably your best defensive outfielder and the outfielder with the most pop because Conine's still hurt too. And then you get Vance Honeycutt, who is arguably probably the most polarizing person in that draft. If you figure him out, he's going to be one of the best players in that draft.
Mm-hmm. So I want to get back to the trade that you just suggested of Westberg, Cowser, Mayo, and Kerstad for Paul Skeens. I don't think that's enough for the Pirates to do.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it's enough for the Pirates to do it. I think that if you get a guy like Paul Skeens, that you have to do that trade.
But see, here's the worst part is this is the Orioles. The Orioles could trade that and some. And the minute that Paul's here, he has Tommy John in the month.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the Orioles.
Yeah, but then
so it's not even worth trading for a guy like that.
A year and a half later, you've got him for 4 or 5 more years.
No, this is the end of year 1. So this is the end of year 2. So he would miss 2 years. You would have him for a year and a half.
I mean, if he has Tommy John surgery,
you're looking at potentially 2 years, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you and I both agree that Tommy John surgery is basically inevitable for just about anybody.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, man. I feel like I don't think the Orioles would ever do that trade.
You would have to give up so much to have 2 years of this guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
At some point. And that team that trades him, those 2 years might be in year 5 and 6 of arbitration. And then you don't even get him.
I don't know. I have such little hope for what Mike Elias is going to do to revamp this ball club. And the players that you listed, in order to get the bat that this team needs, to get the relief help that this team needs, he's going to have to do it through trade.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to do it through a trade.
Let me ask you a question. If they moved on from Mike Elias, do you think it would be a quick turnaround back to one of the better teams in the AL, or would have to be probably another year or 2? Like thinking, so let me broaden this out. So we get rid of Mike Elias. The new GM comes in and gets like the all new hitting coaches, all new pitching coaches. They've revamped the minor league coaches and whatnot. And the guys that we think are really good are just who they are, and they're just what they are right now. It would take a year or 2, wouldn't
it? It depends on who they add in free agency and via trade.
Yeah.
Because these guys are who they are with nobody to protect them in the lineup. There's nobody in this line. Nobody's and I feel like I'm always coming down on I don't have an issue with the guy, but nobody's scared of Ryan O'Hearn or Ramon Laureano hitting 4th. Nobody's scared of that guy. No,
they don't drive the ball.
Nobody's like they get singles to drive in runs when there's a guy on second base or third base. Nobody's scared of those guys hitting 4th for you. Nobody's scared of Ryan Mountcastle hitting 4th for you, right? Nobody's scared of Jordan Westberg hitting 4th for you. To me, who is Jordan Westberg and Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holliday with Aaron Judge? Imagine Aaron Judge on this team. Tell me what those players look like. They're not the same. It would be impossible for them to be the same. So do you go out and do you say, hey, Pete Alonso, we need a first baseman who can also DH.
I wanted that this year.
Who can hit 40 home runs. Yeah. And we're willing to give you 40. We're willing to give you 5 years, $125 million, $150 million. You know, like if you go out and get Pete Alonso, I think that this team is one of the best teams in baseball next year. Mm-hmm. With Bradish coming back, because they have to add starting pitching. They absolutely. It's the biggest failure of the season is the fact that they didn't add the appropriate starting pitching.
They're going to try to add Dylan Cease, and some fans are going to be excited. And I'm going to be over here rolling my eyes, just pissed off.
He's going to have Tommy John surgery.
Not only that, he just sucks against the AL East.
Yeah,
he doesn't pitch well against the Yankees. He doesn't pitch well against Boston. He doesn't pitch well when it matters. I'm just, I don't know. I just don't want Dylan.
Add Valdez and Cease. Are you upset about that?
Valdez, no. I'm excited about Valdez.
But if they add both,
no, because then Cease could be your 3 and 4, and I'd feel fine. But it's relying on him to be the guy is where it's not going to go well.
And I agree with you. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah,
I think that Cease, he's a guy in 2022. He had the lowest ERA in the American League.
Yep.
Then in 2023, his ERA was 4.5. Then last year he goes to San Diego and he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher again. Right. And now this year his ERA is 4.5. Which Dylan Cease are you getting?
Yeah.
The guy who walks 5 guys per 9, strikes out 10 guys per 9, and gives up 3 runs every 6 innings, or are you getting the guy who strikes out 12, throws a no-hitter on 120 pitches and pitches to a 2.5 ERA? Which guy's showing up on any given season? Yep. That's not an ace. That's a really good pitcher with a high ceiling.
Yeah.
You know, they got a lot of work to do. I gotta do this reading. I gotta get us out of here because it's 10 o'clock. But calling all athletes and families don't miss football versus football, a free sports and wellness. I always call it football. That's how you pronounce it, right? Yeah.
Football. You teach me to football.
Don't miss football versus football. A free sports and wellness festival Saturday, July 19th from 10 to 6 at Baltimore Peninsula. Meet retired Ravens, other former NFL stars, and pro soccer players join youth sports clinics, get free health screenings, and enjoy food, music, and family fun. Powered by United Healthcare, presented by Sports Legacy Group, and supported by University of Maryland Orthopedics, and 1-800-GAMBLER. Look, man, is there anything that the Orioles could do this week that you think could turn the feelings of the fan base? I think a lot of people are in the same boat that I am right now. You see all these guys getting hurt again, and you see them, losing games that they should win. I think a lot of people feel the way I feel right now. What can the Orioles do this week aside from sweeping both series to get the fans back in their good graces?
I think you go 4-2 against Texas and Tampa at home. I mean, that puts you in a good spot. And then go back to Texas and Atlanta, and you go another 4-2. So let's see, you got what, 6, 9, 12 more games. Am I saying that right? Did I do that right? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. So we got 3, 6, 1, 3. So that's 9, 12, 15, 18 more games until the All-Star break. 18 games. Look, if you go
16-2.
No, 14. I would say 13-5. I think 13-5 is respectable. Look, you got Texas twice. They're not hitting, right? Jump on them early. Tampa's going to be tough. You take 2 or 3 at home against Tampa. You take 2 out of 3 at home against Detroit or Texas. You should sweep Texas. If you want to get back into this, you have to sweep Texas. Take 2 out of 3. You go 5-1 in that series. Bingo, right there. And then you're in Texas. Take 2 out of 3 there because it's a little bit harder on the road. Okay, now all of a sudden you're 7-2, right? And then you're in Atlanta. You take 2 out of 3 there. You're 9-3. And then you're at the Mets. If you find a way, or you're home against the Mets, take 2 out of 3. Now you're at 11-4. And then you got the Marlins. You should sweep, right? And then you're what, 14-4. So is it doable? Yes. Is it doable with his team? Hell if I know.
You know that over the next 18 games that they're going to go like 10-8,
Probably.
They're going to tread water, and it's going to be like, well, you know, they're playing better. You know, we're going to be having the same conversation for 3 weeks.
Look, Texas is absolutely terrible. I mean, you're playing them for 6 games. You should be able to win at least 4.
But remember, you said they were before the season started. You said that you thought they were the most dangerous team in the American League. What happened to them? Why are they so bad?
Don't know. Their pitching's deep. Well, they have a lot of injuries, but losing Corey Seager is a big deal. You know, and then Eovaldi got hurt a little bit. DeGrom's pitching freaking lights out, but they still just they don't get hits late in the game either. And I don't know. They just fell apart. They could get hot. I mean, they're still in the race. They're a hell of a lot higher up than we are. They start getting some guys back, then who knows? But their lineup is still one of the most dangerous in baseball if they feel like playing when Corey Seager's healthy.
Any expectations from Trevor Rogers tomorrow in 100-degree temperatures? Yeah.
Good.
Against Corbin.
He'll probably go 6 innings.
I hope so. He'll
go 6 innings. He'll probably give up 3, which I think is fine.
6 innings, 3 runs out of him. By the way, what's
10
Kyle
strikeouts
doing?
6 innings, 10 strikeouts.
10 strikeouts? You put a bet down?
I'm throwing it out there.
Man, Kyle Stowers
might walk 3 guys, 4 guys, but whatever.
Remember when Stowers went deep today? 1 for 3 with a home run.
That was his first hit in 10 games?
That was like his first home run in like a month. Yeah. Remember when he was hitting like 300 with 10 home runs in like mid-May?
Yeah, and then he was like he was 3 for 59 at one point after that.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, he's got
Norby, I think, is getting ready to get sent down. He's struggling.
Man. You know,
look, Trevor Rogers rips off like 5 good starts in a row, 7 good starts in a row, and then all of a sudden people are going to look at that trade a little bit differently. Because it's going to work out about how most people that follow baseball expected it. Those guys would level off, and Trevor Rogers would be decent.
So let's see here. Stowers, he was hitting 310. In mid-May, he went 3 for 4. He had that 2-homer game. He had another 2-homer game on May 13th. Since May 13th,
he's hitting 250.
Let's see. Since May 13th,
28 for 112.
Since May 13th,
yeah, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, in 34 games.
No, I've got him at 23 for 101. I got him at 228
since May 13th.
I'm sorry, since the game ended on May 13th.
So May 14th.
So he had yeah, basically, I guess. No, I have May. I'm sorry, I have May 16th. May 16th. May 16th. On May 14th, he went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs.
231 since then with 24 hits and 1 home run in 32 games. 1 home run. 6 RBIs in 32 games.
Yeah. Yeah. We probably jumped the gun a little bit on him this year. But all right.
Let's even look up
that is going to do
Norby.
it for us here. Oh man.
223
so
with 2 home runs since May 16th.
Man. They both.
So like I said, if Trevor Rogers comes out here and has 7 good starts, all of a sudden that trade doesn't look as bad as people think.
I think PigTown's been taking Trevor Rogers for Trevor Bauer. Man, Trevor Bauer ain't
gave up
dude.
8 hits, 8 runs last night, and 1 in the third.
For
in Japan, he's the worst pitcher in Japan right now, as far as ERA.
Yeah. Trevor Bauer, he's not that.
He's throwing 89 to 90 right now.
Yeah, and he hasn't pitched in the majors in 4 years, 5 years now.
He's not very good.
He's not that dude. Yeah, he's not that dude anymore.
He's more focused.
All right,
on
that's
going to
do it for us here. Of course he is. That's probably how he's making all of his money. Thank you to everybody for tuning in to the Bat Around today. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal viewers, listeners, fans, guests that we have on the show. Thank you to Zach. Without you guys, we absolutely do not have a show. Zach, what can we plug for you before we get out of here tonight?
If you guys are around, just PigTownSports on YouTube. Come over, drop a follow, drop a like. Come out. We do different things every day. So
yeah. Well, tune in if you want all the baseball info that you can stomach. Zach's the guy. He eats, breathes, and lives this stuff. So go give him a follow over at PigTownSports on all avenues. Zach, thank you as always for joining us for the show today. Until next week.